A 34-year-old marketing manager from Denver named Sarah Chen shipped a functioning SaaS product last month. It handles client onboarding for small agencies, charges $29 a month, and already has 47 paying customers. She has never written a line of code in her life. Not one. The entire thing, from database to payment processing to user authentication, was built in 11 days using an AI coding assistant called Cursor. And here is what makes this uncomfortable. 3 years ago, that exact product would have cost her somewhere between $15,000 and $50,000 to have built by a freelance developer. She spent $20 on a Cursor subscription and about 200 hours of her time. Welcome back to Zero Index. What I am about to walk you through is not a tutorial. It is not a product review. It is an investigation into something that is quietly reshaping who gets to build software and who gets left behind. And there is a specific reason this is happening now that took me weeks to fully understand. For the past 50 years, there has been a hard line separating two kinds of people. People who can build software and people who can only describe what they want built. That line created entire industries. It is why technical co-founders command 40 to 60% equity in startups. It is why software agencies charge $150 an hour. It is why learning to code became the advice everyone gave to anyone who wanted economic mobility. But something changed in late 2023 that most people still do not fully grasp. Cursor launched as a fork of Visual Studio Code, the most popular code editor in the world, but with AI deeply integrated into every part of the workflow. Not bolted on. Not a plugin. The AI lives inside the editor. It sees your entire code base. It understands context. And crucially, it can take instructions in plain English and translate them into working code. I spent 3 weeks testing this myself. I am not a complete beginner, I can read code, I understand basic programming concepts, but I have never shipped a production application. I decided to build something real. A simple tool that helps freelancers track which invoices are overdue and sends automated reminder emails. The experience was unlike anything I expected. I would type something like create a database table to store invoice information including client name, amount, due date, and payment status. And Cursor would not just write the code. It would explain what it was doing, ask clarifying questions, and then generate something that actually worked. When I hit errors, and I hit hundreds of errors, I would paste the error message back into the chat and say fix this. And it would. 11 days later, I had a working prototype. It is ugly. The code is probably inefficient. A real developer would likely rewrite most of it. But it works. It runs. I can log in, add invoices, and it sends emails when payments are late. I want to be precise about this because most people miss it. This is not like previous low-code tools. Those tools let you snap together pre-built blocks. You could make something that looked like software but had severe limitations the moment you needed anything custom. Cursor is different. You are writing real code. Full-stack applications with databases and APIs and authentication. The AI is just doing the hard parts. So I started looking for others who had gone further than me. What I found was a shadow economy forming in plain sight. There is a Discord server with over 12,000 members specifically dedicated to vibe coding, their term, not mine, where non-developers share the products they have shipped using AI coding tools. I spent 2 weeks in there. The stories were almost disorienting. A real estate agent in Phoenix built a tool that automatically generates property comparison reports for his clients. He charges other agents $79 a month to use it. He has 130 subscribers. That is over $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue from a product he built himself without hiring anyone. A therapist in Seattle created a HIPAA-compliant appointment scheduling system because the existing options were too expensive for her small practice. She now licenses it to other therapists in her network for $39 a month. A 23-year-old college dropout named Marcus Rivera built and sold a SaaS product in 47 days. It helps Etsy sellers track which of their listings are getting views but not purchases. He sold it for $31,000 to a competitor who wanted to absorb his user base. None of these people have computer science degrees. None of them went to a coding bootcamp. Several of them told me they had tried learning to code before and given up. And this is where it gets strange. The products they are building are not toys. I reviewed the actual code from 3 of these projects with a senior developer friend. His assessment was complicated. He said the code quality ranged from messy but functional to surprisingly clean. More importantly, he said something that stuck with me. A year ago, I would have said this code was written by a junior developer with about 2 years of experience. Now I am seeing non-developers produce it in days. I need to stop here because most people get this completely wrong. They think this is just about large language models getting better at coding. That is part of it. But there is a more fundamental shift happening that explains why 2024 and 2025 are the inflection point. Context windows. When GPT-3 launched, it could only process about 4,000 tokens at a time. That is roughly 3,000 words. You could ask it to write a function, but it could not understand how that function fit into a larger application. It had no memory of what you built yesterday. Every conversation started from zero. The latest models powering tools like Cursor can handle over 100,000 tokens. Some can handle 1 million. That is not an incremental improvement. That is the difference between seeing a single room and seeing an entire building. Cursor specifically uses a technique called codebase indexing. It reads your entire project, every file, every function, every database schema, and keeps that context available during every interaction. When you say add a button that lets users export their data as a CSV, it knows what data you have, where it is stored, and how your existing buttons are styled. It can write code that actually fits. This is the open loop I mentioned earlier. The third reason this is happening now is not technical at all. It is economic. The market for custom software has been artificially constrained for decades. There are millions of small businesses and individual professionals who have specific workflow problems that software could solve. But the cost of custom development has always been prohibitive. You need $20,000 minimum to get something basic built. More realistically, $50,000 to $100,000 for anything sophisticated. That created a world where only problems shared by thousands of people got solved. You could find a CRM. You could find an email marketing tool. But if you needed something specific to your exact workflow, a tool that connects your particular inventory system to your particular shipping process with your particular pricing rules, you either paid a fortune or lived without it. What Cursor and tools like it have done is collapse the cost of addressing those niche problems. The real estate agent in Phoenix did not build a product that competes with Zillow. He built something that solves a very specific problem for agents who work exactly the way he works. A market of maybe 10,000 potential customers. Too small for a funded startup to pursue. Perfect for someone building it themselves. Now I need to address the obvious objection. Because I can already hear the professional developers watching this. The code these non-developers are producing is not good code. It is often inefficient, poorly structured, and hard to maintain. It lacks proper error handling. It has security vulnerabilities. A real engineer would never ship it. All of that is true. And here is why it might not matter. I talked to a security consultant who has reviewed several AI-generated applications built by non-developers. His assessment was more nuanced than I expected. He said the vulnerabilities he found were mostly the same vulnerabilities he finds in code written by junior developers at actual companies. SQL injection risks. Improper authentication flows. Missing rate limiting. These are problems, but they are known problems with known solutions. More interestingly, he pointed out that AI coding assistants are getting better at security faster than human developers do. When you tell Cursor to add user authentication, it increasingly defaults to industry standard approaches. It uses established libraries rather than trying to implement cryptography from scratch. It makes certain categories of mistakes less often than humans do. The quality bar for software is not absolute. It depends on what you are building and who is using it. If Sarah Chen's client onboarding tool goes down for an hour, her 47 customers are mildly annoyed. If it has a security breach, the blast radius is small. She is not running critical infrastructure. She is not handling nuclear power plants or medical devices or air traffic control. Most software does not need to be perfect. It needs to work well enough, reliably enough, for the people using it. And the uncomfortable truth is that a lot of professionally built software is not that much better. I have seen enterprise applications built by well-funded teams that crash constantly, lose data, and have interfaces that make users want to scream. The difference is those applications cost $2 million to build instead of 20. This is where I want to be honest because I did not expect to reach this conclusion. If you are a professional developer, the threat is not that non-developers will replace you. The code they produce still needs to be reviewed, refactored, and maintained. Complex systems still require architectural thinking that AI cannot do well yet. Enterprise software with regulatory requirements and integration needs is not going away. The threat is narrower and more specific. The bottom third of the market for custom software development is evaporating. The freelancer who charges $5,000 to build a simple web application. The agency that takes $15,000 for a basic SaaS prototype. The junior developer positions that used to be entry points into the industry. Those jobs are not being replaced by AI directly. They are being replaced by customers who no longer need to hire anyone at all. I talked to a freelance developer in Austin who has been building client projects for 8 years. He told me his inquiry volume dropped 40% in the last 12 months. Not because clients found cheaper developers. Because clients stopped reaching out entirely. When he followed up with people who had ghosted his proposals, several of them admitted they had just built it themselves using Cursor or similar tools. The people who should be worried are not senior engineers at Google. They are the solo developers and small agencies who serve the long tail of the market. The affordable tier. The starter projects. That entire category of work is being absorbed by the people who used to pay for it. So where does this actually lead? There is a version of this story that is purely optimistic. Software development becomes democratized. Small business owners solve their own problems. Entrepreneurs ship products without raising capital. The technical co-founder becomes optional. Power shifts from those who can code to those who understand problems worth solving. I think that version is partially true. But there is a darker implication that I have been thinking about for weeks now. We may be creating a new kind of class division. Not between people who can code and people who cannot. Between people who can effectively collaborate with AI and people who cannot. Because here is what I observed during my own testing and in every conversation with successful Cursor users. The tool does not eliminate the need for skill. It changes which skills matter. Sarah Chen succeeded not because she followed a tutorial. She succeeded because she could clearly articulate what she wanted, break complex problems into smaller pieces, recognize when output was wrong, and iterate relentlessly when things broke. Those are not programming skills. They are thinking skills. Communication skills. Problem-solving skills. The people who struggle with these tools are not struggling because AI is bad. They are struggling because they cannot describe what they want precisely enough for AI to help them. That capacity, to think clearly, communicate precisely, and problem-solve systematically, is not evenly distributed. It is shaped by education, by cognitive style, by practice. And it may be the new dividing line for economic opportunity. Here is my actual advice, and I want to be specific. If you have a software product idea that you have been sitting on because you cannot code, the barrier is lower than it has ever been. Download Cursor. Spend a weekend with it. Start with something tiny. A simple tool that solves one problem you personally have. You will be surprised how far you can get. But do not fool yourself into thinking this is a shortcut. The time you used to spend learning to code, you will now spend learning to communicate with AI. Learning to debug. Learning to think architecturally even if you never write architecture yourself. The work did not disappear. It transformed. And if you are a developer, especially early in your career, I would be paying very close attention to what skills remain valuable when code generation becomes cheap. System design. Security.